Good morning, everybody. It's Sarah. I am sitting out in the sun on my back porch enjoying the morning. Thought I would just get on here and give you an update on what's been going on with me. As you can see, sorry, it's hard to hold the phone and tussle your hair, but as you can see, I got my hair cut off. I'm rocking the pixie cut right now. They say it's probably going to be gone within the next couple weeks. I'll be losing all of it, but I thought that was a good sort of transition just to kind of get me used to not having hair and to get my kids used to seeing me without hair. I don't love it, but it's okay, but I'm trying to just sort of let vanity go for a while. So one of the things I'm having to let go of, and I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. I had my first chemo treatment yesterday, and I'll have another one today. They break it up for the first couple rounds because they don't want to give you too many drugs at once in case you have a reaction. So the one I had yesterday isn't one of the ones that has a lot of side effects like nausea or whatever, so I feel fine. It was a tough day. I had to go to 2 different hospitals because the first one I had to go get an echocardiogram because they have to observe your heart while you're going through chemo because some of the drugs are hard on your heart, and then over to the hospital to do the chemo. So I was gone all day from like 9 to 5. So basically cancer is my full-time job right now. No, not really. I'm still working. I'm just gonna have to take days off when I don't feel well. And so I'm getting another round of chemo today. I go in at 10 and I'll be there most of the day. They said at least 5 hours or so. And those are probably going to make me feel bad, so I probably will be down for the next, 5 days or so. But all the news the doctors are telling me is that this type of chemo is very, very successful on the type of cancer that I have. So I have just so much hope, and I know that it's gonna suck. I know I'm not gonna feel good. It's a year of treatment. It's a year of chemo, surgery, radiation. But I can do it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I'm just gonna make the best out of the situation and learn whatever I can about what comes out of this. So, okay, I wanted to answer a question. I have a lot of people that are asking me how I found the cancer, and I don't want to just talk about cancer all the time, but it's just easier for me to give one update and everybody be able to read it and I appreciate it so much, you guys. I've gotten so many messages and comments and people sending me things in the mail and people bringing me food, and I mean the outpouring. These earrings that I'm wearing right now, let me show you these earrings. I wanted to mention them. My really good friend Vanessa made these for me, and she made them for our group of girlfriends because I had told them that a feather was a really meaningful thing to me, just because throughout my life I've noticed feathers whenever I'm going through a tough time. Like I'll just look down at my feet when I'm about to walk through a doorway of something I have to do that's really hard, and there'll be a feather at my foot. And so to me that's just sort of like symbolic of the universe, saying I've got your back, that God's watching over you. And so I was sharing that with my group of girlfriends, and my friend Vanessa got right to work and made these feather earrings for everybody, so I'm wearing them to my chemo session today. Anyways, I got off track there for a second. People are asking me how I found the cancer. Was it through a mammogram? And the answer is no. I was getting regular mammograms. I've had 7 of them so far because I'm 47 and I started at age 40. I have extremely dense, what they call fibrocystic breasts. So they have a lot of lumps in them all the time. And every time I go to the doctor, we talk about it. They tell me, you really need to, keep an eye on it. Although it's like impossible to know if there's a bad lump versus a regular lump for me. And I had a mammogram 6 weeks ago. And at the time of the mammogram, I had a very large lump in my left breast. And I mentioned it to the doctor, the OB, and then I mentioned it again when I was at the mammogram. And the mammogram results came back and said everything looks fine, everything looks consistent with fibrocystic breasts. So I was like, okay, great. But the lump that was in there was really bothering me. It was hard, and it kept getting bigger, and it was starting to get sore and uncomfortable. And they've told me before that the fibrocystic lumps are fluid filled, and they can just get bigger and bigger, and if it's bothering you, you can go get it aspirated. So I had gone back to the doctor and said, this one's really bothering me, it's really sore, I'm starting to feel swollen lymph nodes around it. I think I need to get the liquid aspirated out. And so they scheduled me with a surgeon to do that, like a needle aspiration, which I know sounds gross, but it's here, I'm talking about it, so whatever. sorry if all this medical stuff grosses you out. And then they do it through ultrasound, so they can see where to guide the needle. And as soon as she put the ultrasound on there, she said, this isn't liquid filled, this is a solid mass. We don't know what it is, it could be lots of different things. That doesn't mean cancer, but we do need to take a biopsy. So they biopsied it that day, along with the lymph node next to it that was swollen. And that is how they found out that it was cancer. So, public service announcement, yes, get your mammograms faithfully every year. This was a 3D mammogram, which they say is better than the regular, but I did get the 3D, but in my case, they did not catch it. I don't know exactly why. I do feel like there's some responsibility there. I feel like somebody should have questioned the size of that lump and how hard it was, because fibrocystic lumps are fluid filled. A couple of times when I've had mammograms, they have gone in with an ultrasound afterwards just to look at the lumps, because the mammogram can't tell the difference between fluid and solid masses. And for some reason, they haven't been doing that the past few years. They have not been doing the ultrasound after the mammogram. And in hindsight, I did feel like my intuition told me that I should have asked for that. But, they told me the words I wanted to hear. We did the mammogram, everything looks fine, you're good to go, see you in a year. And also, there's money involved. I have private insurance, but there's a really hefty deductible, and the mammogram is covered as preventive, but the ultrasound is not. So that would have been, I don't know, $800, $1,000, $2,000, who knows, out of pocket. And so that was another thing that deterred me from getting that done right away. Well, now I wish I had got, obviously. But anyway, a big lesson for me on that is listen to your intuition and listen to your body. I am so grateful for my body for letting me know that this hurts, this is uncomfortable, and I'm grateful to myself to being able to hear that and listen to it and take action. Because if I had waited, my cancer is stage 2, considered stage 2 because it's a mass plus a lymph node. And when it goes beyond that, it starts going throughout your body, and that's really, really scary. So I'm so grateful that I was tuned into my body and that I was taking notice. And that's my public service announcement. Get your mammograms, but take it a step further if you feel like you need to. If you've already had a mammogram and you feel another lump, go back in. And also, you have to be your own advocate. with doctors. They have a protocol that they follow. Insurance dictates a lot, and it is worth it in money and your life to be persistent and to insist if you think that you need more follow-up or more care. Okay, the other thing that I've noticed this week that I wanted to talk about for a second is we have way too much cancer. I mean, I know the statistics, you hear it. 1 in 3 people will get some kind of cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 8 women get breast cancer. I mean, that's crazy. That's ridiculous to me. I mean, it just, and what really hit home for me was going for chemo yesterday. The office waiting room was packed. I mean, there's 45 people probably waiting in there, you know, with bald heads, wearing their little caps. And then they take you back to the chemotherapy room, which is this huge L-shaped room with chairs all around the perimeter. There's probably 100. There's probably 100 chairs in there. You're allowed to bring one person with you, so you get a recliner, and your whoever's with you gets to sit beside you. And there were 100 people getting chemo in there yesterday, and there was probably double that throughout the day because one round finishes and another person comes in and takes that spot. So that was just astounding to me. And so what I want to say is they're not all with breast cancer. There's all kinds of cancers out there. And there are some things that we can be doing. Obviously, we don't know exactly the solution, but things like using Roundup in your yard. Roundup does cause cancer. When I heard this on the radio, you know how they'll study rats in a lab and they study, you know, their tumors. When they want to give the rats the tumors, that's what they give them is Roundup, okay? The weed killer. So the cancer people who are studying cancer know that it causes cancer, and yet we're still using it on everything, all right? So it's not worth it. I heard a speaker say one time, don't spray or use anything on your yard or your house or whatever that you wouldn't drink, because eventually you will be drinking it. So that's food for thought. These lawn fertilizers, these weed killers, insect pesticides, you know, people come and spray the perimeter of your house so you don't get ants or whatever. That stuff is causing cancer. There's a lot more. I'm not saying, you know, that's the only thing, but that's one thing that I've always been mindful of. And the other thing is just products that you put on your own body. I mean, I know I'm a horrible example because I was being careful and I got cancer anyway. But deodorant, I use natural deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it. I use coconut oil instead of lotion because so many beauty products, makeup, and things that we're using, you're absorbing that into your skin, and those are weird chemicals, and those chemicals just build up in your body. Another one is artificial sweeteners and artificial flavors and preservatives. I was telling Sean, my boyfriend, the other day, that's kind of ironic because I never drink any diet sodas because I don't want to put that chemical into my body, and now I'm going to be doing chemo for the next year and pumping crazy, horrible chemicals into myself on a constant, regular basis. But anyway, also as far as prevention, you know, as you guys probably know, I'm a weight loss coach and I work with women who want to lose weight. And if you're overweight, you are at a much higher risk for getting not only breast cancer, but other cancers as well. Especially breast cancer, because fat cells produce estrogen, and estrogen contributes to breast cancer. So that's really something to think about. I know that a lot of the women who come to me are just unhappy with their bodies and unhappy with their body image, and that's why they want to lose the weight. But a lot of them also have big concerns about aging well and feeling good and having energy and being mobile. And cancer is another one that you guys really need to be aware of. The better care you take care of your body. And like I said, I know it's crazy hearing this from me because I already do all this stuff. I eat really healthy, I exercise, I do take care of my body. But for some reason, cancer is what is here to teach me my life lessons right now. And I do have one to share with you, a life lesson that I've been really horrible at for most of my life, and it's a real trial for me right now, but it is waiting and being still, because I've had tests and doctor's appointments and hospital visits and surgeries and chemotherapy every day now for the past 3 weeks. I've had maybe a day off or two. I've had MRI, CT scan, bone scan, biopsy, PET scan. I had surgery to put a port in my chest, which is basically an IV that lives under your skin for the whole time, the whole year that you're getting chemotherapy. So I had to get a port put in, and there's a lot of waiting at every visit. It's not like you just pop in, get your surgery, pop out. You check in at the front desk, and then you go sit down, then you wait for them to call you up to go over your insurance, and then you sit down, then you wait for them to call you back to the waiting area for whatever your thing is, and then you wait there, and then you go to the exam room, and then you wait there. So, a visit, like for my surgery, they were like, oh, it's such a fast surgery, it's 15 minutes in and out. Well, it was 15 minutes in the OR, but I was there for over 5 hours. And I've been so pissed because I'm just sitting there like, and I already have cancer. I'm already going to have so many sick days and days when I can't get things done that I want to do, or do something enjoyable, or be with my friends or whatever. But I have always been bad at waiting. I'm horrible in the car. I'm yelling at people, cussing at people, hurry up, move out of the way, even when I'm not in that much of a hurry. I hate waiting. I hate waiting in line. I'll go through the self-checkout at the grocery, even though it takes me longer than it does for them to check me out, just because I don't want to have to stand there in the line. And we're all in a horrible habit these days, too, of taking our cell phones everywhere we go. So there's never downtime. There's never quiet time. There's never just not doing something, ever. I'm horrible at it. Like, I'll be watching Netflix and going through Instagram or emailing or whatever. We're all doing like 2 things at once, and we all consider not doing something a waste of time. But in reality, we need to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of our fight or flight. Because when we're in go, 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 busyness, electronics, all day long, you are creating stress all the time. And when you stop, when you are quiet, when you do nothing, you are taking all that stress down and activating your rest, digest, relax system. Oh, that makes me want to take a good deep breath, just saying that. And I also was saying to myself, you know what? Yes, this sucks. It's so boring. When I had this revelation, I was waiting for my PET scan. And what they do is they inject you with this radioactive glucose. And then you have to wait an hour and be perfectly still. They wouldn't let you even watch TV or read a book or talk with someone, because they said if your brain was too active, it would uptake all the glucose, and they want to see where in your body is uptaking it. It's a way of looking at what's happening inside your body. So I had to wait an hour doing nothing, and I could listen to like some meditation music, but I was irritated and pissed off, and I was like, I cannot be in a bad mood for a year. This is what I'm looking at. Chemotherapy takes a whole day of just sitting there. I'm going to be sick for days after. recuperating. I'm gonna have doctor's appointments. I have to go get regular IV just saline solution twice this week after my chemotherapy. So 4 days I'm going to be there all day, like at least half a day, if not the whole day. So I'm going to have to get used to this, and I think this lesson is coming to me for a reason, because it's something I've just, I always feel like I should be doing something, and if I'm not doing something, it's a waste of time. And so my lesson right now, and what I'm working on and trying to absorb and hoping to share with you, is that doing nothing is doing something. It is letting your brain relax. It is letting your cells come back into a normal state, instead of everything being a buzz. It's when you digest your food. If you're stressed and on the go and you eat in the car or you're eating at your desk, if you're in fight or flight, your body thinks it needs to save all your energy to fight or flee. So everything else goes out the door. Digestion goes out the door. Detoxification goes out the door. Sex drive goes out the door, because your body just shuts down those non-essential functions. So doing nothing is doing something. And that is going to be a tough one for me. And it is definitely, but it's something that's coming up for me. And so as things come up throughout my journey, I'm just going to share them with you, because I feel like if I'm going through something, probably other people are experiencing the same types of issues. And I know people are experiencing this because I see it all the time. Anyways, I love you guys, and just say a little prayer for me. I'll be in chemo all day today, and probably won't be feeling good for, everybody's kind of up in the air of how long. They say 2 days, 4 days, a week. Some of them say it takes a couple days before you start feeling bad. So it's, this is my first go around. So we'll see how it goes. But I do feel the love. I appreciate it so much. And I hope you guys know how much I love you too. And we'll talk soon. Bye.